Good morning, everyone. Happy Mother's Day if you are a mother, and happy Mother's Day to those of you who are helping mothers in our lives celebrate. It may not be Mother's Day in the country that you're in, but in all honesty, we should be celebrating parents and caretakers every day. So I just finished my last day of rotation and I am home. um, I came to my parents. It's something that I do sometimes on my last day. My parents are almost the same amount of time. My parents' house, it's about the same distance from my work as my home is, just in a different direction. So sometimes I like to come over here when I get off work and my parents are asleep. So I usually come and hang out in the guest room that they have set up for me, and then I'll piddle around for a little while and then go to bed. I'll take a short nap and then we'll get up and hang out. So this morning we are going to go to church. My dad, I think, has to usher, and my dad's also in the choir. And then my mom, I think, I can't remember if she has something today that she's doing for church. Maybe my mom's ushering. I can't remember, but my dad's always in the choir and they take turns ushering. It's a fairly small church, and a lot of the members are older, um, somewhere within 20 years of my parents' age, older or younger. So some are, and there's some families there too. But anyway, so I'm going to go to church with them and then we're going to try to go out to lunch of some sort and celebrate Mother's Day and then my dad's birthday, because I will not be able to come over for my dad's birthday. So we'll kind of do both at once because his birthday's coming up. So very excited about that. It's always awesome when I get to see my parents. I get to see them usually every week, which is great. I'm super grateful for that. Um, and I'm super great that my better half is such a supportive spouse and let's be work time into our schedule so that I can come over. And that's kind of a challenge because then that leaves my spouse home with the dogs even longer. So, good morning, whoever popped in. Happy Mother's Day if you're a mother. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for being here. So, anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit today, since this is kind of something that's been going on at work, about social responsibility. And I know that sounds like such a bummer of a topic, but no, we as a society are such a me forward. And even when we don't try to be, we try to think of others first. We try to put other people ahead of ourselves. But we have those moments throughout the day or throughout whatever is going on through our week where we're like, I need some me time. I need some whatever. And we also are, as a society, and trust me, I'm not saying everyone is like this, okay? But we as a society are such a instant gratification. I need whatever I need and I need it now. And that's with everything. You can go online with your phone or your computer and you can see the doctor. You can order your groceries. You can order your lunch. You can, you know, schedule your car appointment. You can interview for a job. You can do all of these things that you need without leaving wherever you are. And a lot of times without talking to another human being. And that's great in a way, except what happens when you need to talk to another human being? And that's the big thing. So when you have to talk to somebody, sometimes we forget just the like simple social norms and acceptance that you're supposed to have when you're talking with another human being. And I find this a lot at work. And if you don't know, if you're new to my channel, welcome. Good morning, whoever just popped in. Happy Mother's Day if you're a mother. Um, but I work in trucking, and sometimes even and I've been in trucking for 5 years. Sometimes even I forget that I may be the only person or the second person that that person in the truck has talked to all day. And because of the position that I'm in, I work after hours, which means we're dispatch, we're the load planners, we're the breakdown for truck and trailer. We're the problem solvers when something goes wrong with your load or your fuel card doesn't work. We help you with the devices, the technology in your truck. Um, we give directions. Um, we deal with brokers. And we're also the complaint department and your therapist and everything else that you might need. And the thing about trucking, even the local guys that go home every night, they're in the truck by themselves all day. And if they're calling into after hours, they're not calling for a social reason. They're calling because there's a problem. And so, like I said, I might be the first or second person that they've talked to all day, and they're already in a bad mood because there's a problem. So, um, one of two things is going to happen usually on those phone calls. They're going to call in, and even though they're going to be upset, they're going to be fairly calm and cool and collective about it. And for the most part, the phone call is going to be pretty normal and positive, and everybody, gets along. And then hopefully I can fix their problem for them and we move on with life. And they may forget something simple like to tell me their name or what truck number they're in. And so I'll let them get through whatever they have to say. And then I'll say, hey, and who are you? And then we kind of laugh and we go on. Or there's the other percentage of my phone call. And I would like to tell you that I have more good phone calls than bad. That's not always the case. It just depends on the day. Um, but the driver's really mad. And so I'm the person that gets to take the brunt of that anger. And I am an empathetic person. I have been my whole life. And so when someone comes at me with a lot of negativity, I'm very sensitive to that. And on top of that, I'm the type of person that wears my heart on my sleeve. I take things very personally, and that's just how I am. And I know that, and I'm very conscious of that. And I try not to take everything personal, but I do. And it's just, and if you're one of those people, I wish I could give you a hug. I know how hard that is. And I know how frustrating that can be sometimes just because the world just feels like it comes at you sometimes. So the bad phone calls, and good morning. Sorry, I didn't mean to be rude to everyone who came in. Good morning. Happy Mother's Day if you're a mother. Thanks for being here. Um, and feel free to say hi. So, anyway, so the bad phone calls usually go one of two ways. The driver will be upset and they yell and they're very frustrated. Um, and I'm gonna try to be positive about this and say a good 90 to 94% of the time I'm really cool with it. And as long as they're not super yelling directly at me, I'm cool with it. I get it. They're frustrated. They're mad, and it's my job to help fix their problem, and I'll let them be mad, and it's okay. I might say, hey, okay, I get you're mad. I didn't cause the problem. Let me try to help you fix it, okay? And most of the time, then they calm down a little bit. And if they want to yell, I don't care if they cuss. I get it. You cuss all you want. Um, there's the rest of the time that, and it depends on how my day is going. If I'm having a super, super stressed out moment, and somebody is just really coming at me, I might be like, hey, you need to stop. And it might get to the point where I will get really loud and I don't cuss back. I'm very conscious of not cussing at the drivers. If it's somebody that I know and we're joking around, I might say, oh, you're full of shit or something like that. But for the most part, I don't, um, I don't say bad language to the drivers, regardless if we're joking around or not. I'm very conscious of that. I do work in an office. We're supposed to be professional, but there are times that you cannot get through to people that are upset and they're emotionally charged up. And so the conversation will be, hey, you need, stop yelling. You need to listen. Let me try to help you. And some of these people will just not stop. And I say guys, we have male and female drivers. Guys is a generic driver term for me. So, um, but I'll be like, hey, and then I'll have to get louder. Hey, sir, ma'am, stop. Let me work through this. And sometimes you just cannot get through. And so my solution is when I get super upset and I know the conversation is going nowhere is, hey, if you're not going to listen to me and let me help you, we're going to end the conversation. And I give them a warning. I say that if that doesn't stop the yelling and the screaming and the cursing, and they've made it very personal, then I'll tell them, hey, we're going to end the conversation. Call me back when you're ready to talk. and I'll end the conversation. And the good thing is we have driver ID on all of our phones, so I know who's calling in. I'm not a monster. I am going to help them. So I will call them back if they don't call back. And a lot of that, I don't ever expect them to apologize because I get it. They're in a frustrating situation. Trucking is a very hard job. If you aren't familiar with the ins and outs of the industry, it's a stressful job and it's a very lonely job. And when things go wrong, they go wrong really quick. And so that's why I try to be sympathetic when stuff goes wrong. And I try to do the best I can at my job to try to make things better for them. And it doesn't always work out. There's some problems that we can't solve, especially if it's 3 in the morning. I'm probably not going to get a hold of a customer to fix your problem. The only person I would get a hold of is the someone in shipping or receiving that you have a problem with, and they can't solve the problem, so we're not going to get anywhere. So there's times where it is super frustrating. But the point of all this discussion is just social responsibility. Like, we as a society sometimes are so self-centered that we don't realize how we speak and interact with one another, especially when we're mad. And it's something I struggle with. I've been in situations where, because I before I was in the trucking industry, I was in retail, and if you've not worked retail, you probably don't know how horrible, and I did food service before that, how horrible people can be. And if you have worked retail, even for a day, or food service, you know how horrible people can be. People can be just absolute monsters and say things to you that you would never say to another human being. I've been called all kinds of horrible names. I've been told a million ways how to kill myself. I've had people offer to kill me. I've had people cuss out my parents, my grandparents, that the ground that I walk on, and it's horrible. It's awful, and it's disgusting that we are that way to each other. And I don't just say that coming from a Christian perspective, even though that is the perspective that I come from because that's who I am. But just as people, how can you say horrible things to another person and think that that's okay, even in a fit of anger? And I've said things to people that I'm not proud of when I've been upset. I've never told anybody where to, what bridge to jump off and how to get there, or I've never told anybody that, they never should have been born or something like that. And I've had those things said to me. But thank you, whoever sent the hearts and the like. I appreciate that. Good morning. Welcome. If you're a mom, happy Mother's Day. Feel free to comment, ask questions. If you have questions about what I do, I'm in the trucking industry, or just questions in general, feel free to say hello. I don't bite, I promise. So, but no, it's so awful that we're so mean to each other. And I think between work, and how things go sometimes at work, and then having a YouTube channel has made me realize how awful people can be. Because I was telling my better half the other day when I was actually at my house and not my parents, doing my lives, because my spouse usually moderates my lives for me. And I said, "Wow, we've really made it. We're a big enough channel now that we've attracted the trolls because some people got on there and some just silly stuff. Like, somebody put like bathroom humor jokes on there and stuff, and it's like, wow. I mean, I hoped that they were younger and like it was still funny to them, and they weren't somebody that was like me in their 40s and they were still laughing about it out in public. And then I had other, silly comments, and that's cool. Whatever. If you're having a bad day, good morning. Hello. Thank you for stopping in. Welcome. If you're somebody that's having a bad day and you need to go make yourself laugh by posting something silly on somebody's chat, then that's pretty harmless. But the trolls that say really mean things, especially like personal things about somebody's appearance or their religion, or you just make it personal, like, that's just so out of line. And I don't think that people who don't have a social media channel, thank you. I appreciate that so much. That means a lot to me. Thank you. I appreciate you. I'm Jen, by the way. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I do a lot of different stuff on this channel. I'm mostly a faith-based channel, a Christian channel, but I do ASMR. My dogs have their appearances on on here, so feel free to um, feel free to ask anything you want. But yeah, when people make just like rude comments to one another, for no reason, like what's the point in that? You know what I mean? Like, um, it doesn't make sense for like asking like that. Like it just good morning, Butterroll Boutique. Nice to see you. Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate that. But no, it just doesn't make sense for like people to just be blatantly rude, especially in public, like on a social media channel. It's just so inappropriate. And if you're out in public, I don't know how. No, I'm sorry. I do have a lot of Filipino subscribers, though, believe it or not. But I do not. I'm sorry. I know a little bit of Spanish, and it's not very much, and a little bit of Polish from my job because I have a lot of Polish speaking drivers, but those are the only two languages I know really well. So I'm sorry. um, but if you have a channel, I will watch your stuff, and YouTube is a great translator, and I love to watch people from all over the world. I have subscribers from all over the world, and if you have a channel, I watch you. So, and Butterroll, I have to. That is so awesome. What time is it in the Philippines? It is, let's see, it is almost 4 a.m. here. I'm in the United States, so it's really early here. But Butterroll Boutique, I need to catch up on your videos, and I will do so. So anyway, just about social, like just being nice to people. Like, here's somebody that doesn't know me from anybody else, said good morning. I subscribed to your channel, had a nice little conversation. They told me where they're from. I mean, that's awesome. And that's how we're supposed to be to one another. It's just like the old saying, if you don't have anything nice to say, then don't say it. If you're having a bad day and you need a laugh and you're, you know, if you think it's funny to pop in on somebody's live and make childish jokes, I guess that's fairly harmless, but just being blatantly rude is just, it doesn't make sense to me. And I can't abide by that. Just like I can't abide by people being mean to one another for no reason, because let's face it, life is so hard in general. We all have stuff going on, and we all have tough moments in our lives. We all have struggles that we're facing. Worldwide, I think everybody's feeling the pinch of the economy, and there's just so many world disasters right now with flooding and tornadoes and other tropical events. And then there's just lots and lots of stuff going on top of people's personal problems, school problems, family problems, whatever you have going on in your life. And when you're hateful to someone, like, you don't realize how much that could negatively impact someone. There's been studies on, how much people's words affect you. And there's lots and lots of sayings in, just generalized sayings that have come up throughout the years. There's comments about it in the Bible. There's comments in other religions about, how your tongue can hurt more than any other weapon. And it's true, because the thing about words is when you say them, you can't take them back. Once they're out there, they're out there. And if you type them online, they're there forever. If you delete comments, I should be in bed. I get it. So good morning. Happy Mother's Day to you too. Thank you. Um, I just got home I'm at my parents', but I just got off work a little while ago and I should be going to bed, but I like to come on and do a video or do a live after work. But, so thank you for listening. I appreciate it. But no, there's so much that says that we really need to be aware of how we speak to one another. And I think that's something that, like, people, in terms of being online, like, people don't realize the chats online. If someone rewatches someone's live, they can choose if they want to see the chat that popped up during that live. So, like, everything that's commenting right now, people can see that in addition to any comments that people have watched as they've done a rewatch. So And it's just like anything else. If you post something on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, even if you delete that post, there's still record of it somewhere. And you don't realize like how stuff can come back to haunt you. My dad has been retired for over 10 years. He was an attorney, but his firm would, and this is 10, over 10 years ago. So, Facebook and Instagram and all the other social medias weren't as huge as they are now. But his firm would go back and look at potential applicants' Facebook pages and any other social media that they had. And if all they had was drunken pictures of themselves, um, you know, you have to think twice about, is this somebody that I really want to hire? And you can't make that the only judgment. That's not how you run a business properly. But um, what kind of face are you giving yourself when all you have is, drunk pictures of yourself or inappropriate half naked pictures of yourself out on social media, or pictures of yourself, or videos of yourself saying not very nice things or saying hateful things about someone else? Or is that the kind of introduction that you want to give to someone before they even meet you? And I get it. Politicians say horrible things about one another. Um, Leaders in general sometimes say horrible things about one another. People who have risen to power because they've said not nice things and people back them up, have risen to power because of that. But when you stop and think about that, are those the people that we recognize as heroes in history? Absolutely not. And I'm not here to start a political fight. I'm just using that as an example. But if you're first, if I went to someone's profile, and I went to, and I didn't know them, and it was somebody that had popped on my live, and I thought, oh, I want to see if they have a channel, and I go to their channel, and their channel is nothing but them spewing hate about somebody else. I'm like, oh, what kind of person is this? And maybe that person was just having a really bad day, or maybe they were trying to be funny when they said certain things. But at the same time, if that's the only way that you know that person, you're not probably going to have the best impression of them. And it's the same thing that I tell my coworkers, and I tell even drivers if they've called back after we've had a bad exchange on the phone. You don't realize like how much impact you have on with someone when you say really mean things. And even if you're mad and even if you're in a frustrating situation, you're still in control of what comes flying out of your mouth. And if you're so angry that you don't feel like you have control of what's flying out of your mouth, then maybe you need to take a break and start that conversation over again when you're a little bit calmer. And I think that's something that in this instant society, we don't take the time to do. There's nothing wrong with saying, I need a break. When my spouse and I disagree, we'll get to the point where it's like, hey, I'm going to walk away and we will have this conversation in a little bit, because I know before I got my anger under control, I was the type of person, and every now and then that side of me pops out when if I just get like super mad, and I'll catch myself and I'll say something that is said just to be hurtful. And it's so awful when I do it. And I feel so bad. But that's the thing. Once you say something, it's out there and you can't unsay it. So we as people have to take responsibility for our social behavior. And that could be social with one person, that could be social with a group of people, it could be social like here with a group of strangers, that are popping in and out of this live. I don't want somebody to think that I'm a bad person because I'm spewing hate. I don't want someone to think that they couldn't pop in my channel and feel comfortable being here because I'm saying bad things about other people. That's not the kind of person that I am. And I certainly don't want anybody to think that I'm that kind of person. I don't pop on YouTube live when I'm having a bad moment because I don't want people to see me upset, you know? I don't want people to see me angry, just like I wouldn't want someone to get a bad impression of me for one video. So you have to stop and think. And I think we just get so caught up in the moment and so caught up in the instantness of our society that we let that get the best of us, and we think that we don't have to be responsible for our behavior, especially online. And I think that's just so sad. So anyway, I'm going to get off my little soapbox here. But so as far as this week at work, yeah, it's been a tough one, but we're going to get through it. I have spent a lot of time at work contemplating how things can be better and what I can do to make things better, because there has been a lot of stress at work. And part of it is change. Human beings, is just the nature of us, we don't necessarily like change, and we don't handle change very well. So when a lot of it happens at once, it tends to be really stressful. Sorry, guys, talking too much. But anyway, um, it just it's just interesting, like how much one little change can affect somebody. Like we've realigned some of the departments at my work, and so that meant some people became part of another department, and now they have to work with people that they never worked with before, and some people's positions ultimately went away, and that's never a good thing. You don't like to see somebody in a position where they no longer have a job. That's really sad for everyone involved. Good morning, Linda Jean. Thank you. Oh my goodness, you are up so late. I feel so bad with you. I caught your new song. I absolutely love it. And I couldn't have, I wouldn't have even known you had a sore throat if you wouldn't have told us. I love it so much. The song about you and your friend. That was just so cool. Speaking of which, there's two people in here that I know have channels, Butterroll Boutique and Linda Jean. Check them out. I will try to remember to link their channels when those live gets posted. But thank you both. Oh, thank you. That's awesome. We are friends, and I love that. So, you have such a pretty voice, and it was so cool to see you just sit down and be so happy. That's just, oh, I love it when you sing. You're just always like this ray of just immense sunshine and light. It's just so cool. On top of the fact you have a beautiful voice, and I admire anyone that can sing. So, I cannot sing. I sing in the car all the time, and people who are driving next to me probably think I'm crazy. But yeah, I can't sing. It's not pretty. So, but thank you for being here and for your kind words. You're really sweet. So, anyway, so yeah, work's been. Oh, don't You are so awesome. You are so sweet. Seriously, guys, check out their channels. Check out Linda Jean, especially if you're into music, or admire anybody who can sing, and Butterwell Boutique if you admire anyone who can do crafts. Everyone can sing. Yeah, well, okay. Well, I sing to be happy, just to sing. I like singing to all my stuff that I listen to in the car. It's kind of stress relief for me. So I'm all over the place with the music that I like. So. I've yet to meet music that I don't like. And maybe music that I don't listen to all the time, but I appreciate music for what it is. Anybody that's yes, they do. They should. My dad always says that he can't sing either, and he's in the choir at church. So that tells you what he knows. He says he can't read music, but I think he's learning. He has their choir director is awesome, and is has really been teaching the people that don't know a lot about reading music, how to read music, which is really cool. So hopefully I'm not. Speaking of which, I'm over at my parents' house now, so I'm hoping I'm not too loud and I'm gonna wake them up. But we'll see. You can't read it? That's amazing. You can't, but you write your own music. That's like so cool. Um, but I guess you know what it's supposed to sound like, how you want it to sound in your head. So I'm not sure what the creative writing process is for music. I did a lot of I like to creative write. I don't do a whole lot of it now because I don't have time, but I really liked writing science fiction. And you write with course, but see, you can play an instrument, so you have that. You have the sound, I guess, in your head of where things should be. So that's cool. You go by feel. There you go. So yeah, I think that's something. If you have people who are musically inclined, are just awesome. A lot of your songs seem to come from about, yeah, definitely. And knowing what I know about your dad, I don't want to share your personal business, but I know like your family that um is watching down over you. I think probably inspires you a lot too. I think I think like I know like my grandparents, my grandfather was an air traffic controller, and that my job is nowhere near as stressful as his was. I couldn't even imagine controlling planes. But when I have a really bad day, I think about like all the things that he had to be in charge of by being in that industry, and I try to get strength from that. So I think sometimes having our angels, our people that have moved on, watching over us is very helpful. And it's funny, like, um, it's funny, my brother passed away so many years ago. I was 16 and he was 13, and I'm 45 now, so it's been a minute. But I don't. I'm at that stage, and good morning, the CEO. It's nice for you to be here. My teacher was an air traffic controller. That's such a tough job. They won't accept you over the age of 31. That's crazy. They won't accept you over the age of 31. Really? I would think people that were more like, well, I guess everybody matures differently. But man, that's like, wow, that's crazy. I did not know that. Um, you're right. My dad and I think, yeah, yeah, absolutely. I truly believe that, um, that we get, we know that the people that, oh yeah, no, I'm 45. I promise. You're really sweet, but I'm 45. And you guys are seeing me with no makeup on. Um, if you are there, you can stay till you're retired, but the new recruits can't take their tests over that age. Wow, that is so crazy. I did not know that. Yeah, my grandfather was with this is gonna show, but he was with TWA, and they are no longer. But yeah, that was who he worked for. That's really crazy. I did not know that. Thank you for educating me today. Yeah, but I totally agree with you, Linda, that I think of the people that we have lost in our lives, they still have a lot to teach us. And it's funny, like my dad's mom, her spouse passed away. Her husband passed away the year before I was born, and she never remarried. She went on one date, and it was just like a couple years before she died. And she called my dad to ask him if he was okay with her going on a date. And that like so that's so cute. But she never remarried, but she was super independent, and she was somebody that I really looked up to because she was the super strong, like, independent woman in a time. She grew up during, she was a child during the Depression, and um women she was outside of what women were supposed to be. She did political work. She learned how to do investing, and she was really good at it. Absolutely, sometimes the loved ones passed on are a bigger presence in our lives other than the people yeah, absolutely. um I totally agree. God, I just held my father's hand when he passed at 70, and I am so sorry. Oh, I want to hug you guys. It's so hard. Like, and grief is such a strange process, Like I was saying, like, I don't think about my brother every day, but when I do now, most of the time when I think about him, it's good things. Every now and then, like his birthday was just on April 27th, and those are always tough times around his birthday and around the time that he passed. Holidays don't bother me so much anymore, because my parents and I have kind of changed how we do things. Oh, and you held your dad 4 years ago. Oh gosh, I didn't realize that was. Oh, I just want to hug you guys. I can't. I feel bad when I talk about the fact that both my parents are still here, and so many people my age, their parents are. So many people my age and younger, um, don't have one or both their parents, and I'm so blessed when I have mine. And I think it's why I do talk about them so much, because they're so important to me. And one of these days, I'm going to get them on this channel and have them introduce themselves. I'm going to corner them. But parents, like, it's funny, like, everybody says, oh, well, my parents are important. Well, yeah, absolutely. But other people in our lives are so important too. And when they're gone, you realize like how important they were, you know? Um, it's funny, and even like people that you maybe only knew for a little while, like great grandparents or things like that, like they're so special to you when you get older and you realize the things that they told you. Um, Lost time young, I can't imagine. Yeah. Thank you. Yes. That's right. They do. They're the place that they're somewhere safe and in a wonderful place, and we'll get to see them again. That's what gets me through, like, um and I think that's why, like, when I got so angry at God, when my brother passed, I think it was because I didn't have enough faith at the time when my brother died to realize that he really was in an okay place and he was safe, and that I was going to see him again. And I think just because my faith at that point was at such a weird, I wasn't as strong in my faith as I should have been before he died. And so it was a big struggle, and I got really angry. And that's part of grief too, is sometimes we get angry. And it's okay to be angry. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be lots of things. Nobody goes through grief exactly the same. And there's lots of books out there about, the 7 stages of grief or the 10 stages of grief or whatever. And there's lots and lots and lots of studies about it, obviously, because we all are going to die. So it's something we're all in our own way fascinated with or curious about. But one thing is for sure, we're all going to die. And the other thing is for sure, no one deals with death exactly the same. And, it is what it is. And we just have to try to take care of each other, like you guys have been so, like, it's so wild. Like, you meet people here on YouTube that you would never necessarily get to meet anywhere else. And they're the, like, most 99.9% of the people on this platform are so amazing. And yeah, it's hard, and you feel bad. I don't know if you've had the experience of feeling guilty for being angry, but it's, I don't know. I went through that. Um, oh, 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 that's so young to, like, yeah, it's funny. Like when you, like, realize when death is a real thing, and it's, people realize that at a certain age. I was one of those teenagers. Like, I was in a really bad car accident shortly after I got my driver's license. 100%. Um, you know, my fault because I was stupid. Um, but you get that, you learned in school. Yeah. Oh, um, if it even said, like I know we talked about the fact that people die in school, but I think some people go through that rebellious stage where you think that you're invincible. Um, but then when you really realize that death is for real, um, it is. It's overwhelming. And I could see that. I could see crying yourself to sleep, knowing, especially because it's such an unknown. Like, you don't know when it's going to happen. And I think that's why some people do stuff like climb Mount Everest, and um it is a horrible thing to learn at 5, goodness. Or some people like me, like, they like scary movies, or read scary books, and people do things like walk tight ropes and climb Mount Everest and go scuba diving and things like that, because we want to feel alive by putting ourselves close to dying, like right on the edge of, ooh, something bad could happen. Um, because we want to tell ourselves that we're not going to die, you know? But at the same time, coming from a Christian's perspective, I have less anxiety. I'm still afraid of it. But I have less anxiety about it because I know that this isn't the end. That when I die, it's not just nothing. There's more to it. Um, um, yeah. You said Linda Jean said I get accident prone. Yeah, I can too. I have broken so many toes and banged myself up so many times. Walking across the room. My better half Madison can tell you, I am like a klutz. I am so, you hurt yourself in your sleep. I don't think I've done that yet, but I have hurt Madison when I'm sleeping because I have turned over or shifted and been like, whoa, I'll be told the next day that, I was like being Mike Tyson or something when I was sleeping. So just wait till you get older. Okay. Well, okay. So my dad has fallen. My dad's going to disown me for telling his dirty secrets, but my dad has fallen out of bed and hit himself on the head on their on his nightside table. My mom has gotten up and you know how you're like half asleep, kind of stumbling to the bathroom. She slipped and fallen, and banged herself up pretty good doing that. Yeah, so I get it. I guess it's in my genetics to be kind of clumsy. Sorry, mom and dad, when you watch this later. But yeah, I'm definitely a klutz. I have bruises on me all the time, because I run into stuff. I have a huge bruise on the back of my calf. It's been there for like, I don't know, like 3 weeks now because I closed the door, the car door on the back of my leg. Yeah, 10 out of 10, don't recommend. It was a very, very painful experience. Kindred spirits and band-aids. There you go. We'll get matching band-aids. Um, it is. Oh, you don't, no roller coasters. Even you don't even want to fly. Yeah, some people are really scared of flying. Bruise sisters, I like it. I love it. Yeah, some people are super scared of flying. Like I get it. That's a real fear. Or like going on. Some people are really scared of like the water and don't want to go out on boats because they're afraid of drowning. I get it. There's very real fears. My dad is like super afraid of heights. I think it's why when we were little kids, like not super little, but probably like, I don't know, 7 or 8, he would have us come up on the, oh, it was only a 1 story roof. It was a ranch house, but he would have us come up on the roof and hang out with him while he was cleaning the gutters. Cause I think us being up there and him having to be responsible for us made him less afraid of being up there. Like I don't think I ever realized that until now that like I think that's why he has come up there was so he would be less afraid. But there are fears. Like my biggest fear in terms of like really hurting myself or dying is falling. And I know that sounds like super ridiculous, but it is. I have this immense fear of falling. Like um like stepping off a curb and falling into the street, or something stupid, because I am such a klutz that like it it's a big fear for me. So we all have our own fears. um I also have fears of things like coming through the windshield, like the movie like Final Destination. I think that's what those movies were. But we've had a couple of bad incidences when Madison and I have been driving, and rocks or other debris have slammed into the windshield. And if you've never experienced that, I pray you don't, because it literally sounds like, I don't know, like an explosion, and it's terrifying. And I've actually had truck drivers call me because stuff has gone through their windshields when they're driving. And then they're not driving a car, they're driving a truck, and they have to control the truck and stop the truck safely. We actually had a driver have an owl fly through his windshield. And he said it was like literally the scariest thing that ever happened to him. I can't even imagine a living creature going through your windshield while you're driving 65 miles an hour down the highway with 80,000 pounds behind you in a steel box. Fortunately, he was able to get over to the side of the road um, safely. But yeah, it was super intense. Scared his dog really bad too. Linda, you have more of a fear of losing loved ones than myself passing. I could understand that. Um, I think that's something that happens as we get older too. It's also um, I think one of the reasons is that as we get older, if we haven't had faith in our lives, a lot of people as they get older try to find some kind of faith or go back to the faith that they had when they were younger, because um, we don't want to die. I mean, your body will fight death till the very end, until it literally has nothing else to fight. So I think, and the great fear of the unknown, because we, you know, those of us who have faith know that we're going to a better place, but we don't know what that better place is going to be like. We have ideas, but we don't know for sure until we get there. So um, yeah, I wish your family Yeah, you wish your family could stay home. Yeah, you don't know what's gonna happen out there, you know. And when it's your time, it's your time. So I could totally see that being as a very real fear. Sorry guys, I really only meant to talk for 30 minutes tonight. I'm gonna have to take a nap here soon, so I can go to church with my parents. Um, being separated, yeah, absolutely. And especially if you've lost people young, I think sometimes that's an even bigger fear because that took away your sense of security at a young age, or and not even if you lost people, like maybe if you experienced divorce at a young age, or you were somebody that got put in foster care or went to live with other family members at a young age. I think those are pretty traumatic events. And once you lose your initial sense of security, I think you're expected to mature quickly. We do so as kind of a defense mechanism, but yeah, I think that's very true. Is sometimes we get very protective of those who are around us because we don't want to lose them. So yeah. Well, this has been a really the deep discussion. This has been a really good discussion. So, CEO, thank you for popping in. The nicest thing is knowing, yes, absolutely. 24/7 comfort blanket, 100%. Losing pets. Yeah, oh, he lost two this year. Uh, yeah, losing pets is, oh, yeah, it's really hard. I think pets, to me, pets are, we get so close to them. It's pretty much the equivalent of losing a person, and it's very traumatic. Um, our first dog that we lost 4 years ago is still something that we think about all the time. And it's just that you grieve just for a pet, like you grieve for a person, you know. And it doesn't matter if you've had him for a week or if you've had him for 10 years or 20 years or whatever. It's still a grieving process. So, well, I'm really glad that you were up, Linda. That it was a. I'm glad that for who knew 4 a.m. was going to be a popular time. So, um, and CEO, I don't know if you have a channel, but if you do, feel free to subscribe to my channel. Anyone who subscribes to me that has a channel, I always try to watch and support. We have to help each other. So feel free. Not to totally change the subject, but just tossing that out there. Yeah, this has been really fun, guys. So like I said, this is my first day off. So today, well, thank you. I appreciate that. That was really sweet. Um, Ocean Blue, I think that, good morning, by the way, or hi, I don't know what time it is for you. Love is temporary, hardness is the goal. Those who steal and penny pinch are just trying to reach that ultimate bliss before they die. Yeah, people who focus on material things versus the connections that you have with other people, and the emotions that you can have with other people, I think miss out on a lot of life. You can't take things with you, but you can take the love that you have in your heart, and you can take the relationships that you build. I think those stay with you forever. Yes, thank you. Happy Mother's Day to the people in all of your lives, and those of you, if you are mothers, happy Mother's Day. Even if it's not something, even if it's not Mother's Day where you live, parents and caregivers um, should be supported all the time. Yeah, sometimes relationships fade. I think people come in and out of our lives for different reasons, and sometimes we have to end relationships for certain reasons. There's people that I was friends with for a number of years that I chose not to be friends with as an adult, or even as an adult if I became friends with them and I chose not to be friends with them anymore, because sometimes people people go in different directions, and maybe they're not going in a direction that's good for us. Um, and sometimes you have to separate yourselves, and that's hard. It is hard, but you hold on to the people that are close to you, that are a good influence on you, and you make the best of it. So, but yeah, it is hard. 100% agree. So, well, hey guys, I'm gonna sign off here so I can take a nap, because it is now 4:30 in the morning, and yeah, definitely meeting people as an adult. I think the relationships, um, I agree, Ocean Blue. It does. But the ones that you know, the ones that you love, and the ones that love you back, I think those relationships are so meaningful. So yeah, thanks guys for popping in. I sincerely appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you have a wonderful and awesome day. I'm gonna try to do another live either tonight. It depends on how much sleep I get. At some point today, or I will definitely do one sometime on Monday. And I really want to do an ASMR live. So if you guys are into ASMR, one of these times, or at least part of a session of a live, I'll do ASMR. I didn't get to do it last rotation, but I'm gonna make a point to do that now. So, and I have, I'm gonna share this because I'm super excited about this. Um, I don't know if I think I talked about it that I'm a big scary movie person, and one of my most favorite scary movies is the Alien series. The original Alien movie came out in 1979, the one with Ripley, Sigourney Weaver, if you're all familiar with those movies. But I'm going to do kind of a spaced theme ASMR series that I'm working on. I'm not sure when I'm going to kick the first video out, but any of you who are super sci-fi horror movie fans, keep an eye out for that if you're into ASMR. So yes, the alien yeah. And they've made fun of it in like so many movies ever since, Spaceballs and all kinds of stuff. Fun fact, if you don't know, the cast of the movie, none of them knew that that was going to happen except for the actor who had the alien pop out of his chest. And the reactions that you see in the movie of those characters are real because they had no idea it was going to happen. And it freaked them out as much as it freaked and continues to freak audiences out. So if you've never seen the movie, if you're not into horror and blood, guts, and gore, it's not. Um, it's not a good movie to watch. But yeah, definitely like the scariest Jack in the Box ever. Um, yeah, some of the it's sad that, and it's just like any movie, the sequels or prequels or whatever they are sometimes aren't as good, and some of them are better than the original. But considering what special effects were in 1979, it was a pretty amazing movie, and it still scares me to this day. So but yeah, so we're going to be doing some spaced theme ASMR, so super excited. I got to work out the details of how that's going to go. But anyway, I'm going to sign off. Have a wonderful and blessed day. Feel free to reach out anytime if you're new to the channel. If you're someone that needs a prayer, comment on any of my videos. I would love to pray for you, or send me an email. My email address is fracturechristian@gmail.com. Thank you to each and every one of you who popped in tonight. I sincerely appreciate it. You guys are awesome. And if I could, I would give you a big, big hug. So I'll just hug you with my hands. And I will talk to you guys again very, very soon. Bye.